high-rise pack should include the following tools and appliances. 2 Durapack 1 3/4 hoses, 75 foot each. 1 15/16 smoothbore nozzle with pistol grip. 1 Akron low-pressure fog tip. 1 elbow adapter. A Knox key. A crescent wrench. A pair of spanner wrenches. 1 2.5 by 1.5 gated Y. A few sprinkler tongs. A few wedges. And a storage bag. The engine crew has arrived at a 5-story condominium, with a reported room and contents fire on the A, B, portion of floor 5. The engineer exits the apparatus, and immediately begins to stretch 2.5 hoses, to be connected to the FDC. Meanwhile, the captain loads firefighter number 1, with 75 foot of 1 3/4 hose, and firefighter 2, with 75 foot of 1 3/4 hose, pre-prepared in a high-rise pack load, and instructs each firefighter to proceed to the base of the stairwell. The captain takes the bag of high-rise tools and appliances and also starts off for the stairwell. Here, the engineer is completing his connection to the FDC, with 2.5 hoses. And after completing his connection to the engine, he can immediately charge the FDC, with water from the engine's booster tank, for immediate water supply. The engineer can then proceed to make his hydrant connection, to the hydrant, with a 5-inch supply hose. Make sure to dress the hydrant with at least one 2.5-inch ball valve, as shown here. The engineer quickly makes sure the ball valve is fully closed, before proceeding to charge the hydrant. The engineer will then switch the FDC supply from the booster tank, to hydrant water, and then immediately refill his booster tank. The engineer will now calculate his friction loss, and hydraulic calculations, using the following formula. Remember to add 5 psi, for every floor above the engine, or subtract 5 psi, for every floor below the engine. In this demonstration, the crew is using a 15/16 straight bore nozzle. The engineer uses the appropriate calculations to determine this friction loss of 62 psi. With the correct friction loss calculation, the engineer can now determine the correct engine pressure. In today's demonstration, he has determined that number to be 122 psi. Here, the engine crew makes their way up the stairs, to the landing, just below the fire floor. Firefighter 1 will stop at the standpipe connection, on the landing, allowing the captain to unload his bundle, and, after dropping his tool and appliance bag, the captain will then proceed to the fire floor, with Firefighter 2. Firefighter 1 will then proceed to unbuckle his bundle, and attach the gated Y, to the standpipe connection. Next, Firefighter 1 will then attach the female coupling from his bundle, to the gated Y. Note that Firefighter 1 ensures that the unused side of the gated Y is completely closed, before proceeding. To ensure prevention of kinks in his hose, Firefighter 1 will make sure his bundle is completely open, and then hand off his male coupling to Firefighter 2, who will advance to bundle 2 to make the final connection. Meanwhile, the captain will prepare bundle 2 for deployment, spreading the bundle to prevent kinks, and removing the nozzle. Firefighter 1 can now open the valve, charging both bundles of hose. Both packs can be charged simultaneously with no kinks, resulting in good water flow at the nozzle. firefighter 2 can now bleed the hose of air before making entry. Another unique benefit of the high-rise pack is that the charged hose line can be stood up vertically and set up against the landing wall, allowing better ingress and egress for emergency personnel and tenants. Once charged, this hose load easily self-deploys and can be advanced without the need of additional personnel. In traditional high-rise packs, the first-in crew would get the hose to the standpipe below the fire floor and would typically be physically exhausted. With this load, they are still fresh enough to perform effective firefighting operations. Another advantage of this load is when you have a long run from the standpipe. Both of these packs can be connected together and be completely deployed with no additional personnel, which makes this pack extremely efficient and versatile. For example, the high-rise pack can be deployed down a boat dock or pier, or in a warehouse or industrial setting, and even wildland situations. Here, mutual aid arrives, with two 75-foot sections of hose, connected together in a single high-rise pack load. In the event that an FTC or standpipe connection is not available, an aerial device may be used, as shown here. The high-rise pack is extremely easy to reload. Here, a firefighter performs a simple maneuver and prepares his bundle for replacement on the apparatus. Back at the station, the high-rise pack can also be loaded with this alternative method of bundling. Once the firefighter has the hose fully bundled, a final adjustment can be made for proper placement of the nozzle. Once the nozzle is connected, the load is rebuckled with a strap at each end and made ready for storage on the apparatus.